Well, often on Workopolis TV, we like to profile different careers. Tonight, we are looking into an audio engineer, and we have Jeff Wright joining us. He's Department Head of Audio Engineering at the Trebas Institute. Thanks so much for joining us.
Okay.
I work with a number of audio engineers here, obviously in the television station, and Andrew Stokely, one of our morning audio engineers, has a quote in the bottom of his email that says, "No one cares about audio until they can't hear it." It's pretty important.
It really makes a show. It makes a game. It makes, you know, a hockey game. To hear that crunch, that's all engineers, definitely.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about the audio engineer's job, because for a lot of people, they just don't understand what it entails and what their job actually is.
Well, basically, audio engineer listens technically to music and to voice recording. So it's their job to pick out maybe wrong notes in an audio recording or clicks and pops, and that's pretty much their role, to ensure everything is captured on the medium properly.
Now, also, in some cases, I mean, they could be working with everything, I'm assuming, corporate events, to indie bands, to television stations, to, I mean, there's lots of different opportunities.
I've done sessions where we record voices and put little chips into toys in New York, and that's, you know, people don't realize that there's so many jobs available to an audio engineer.
Tell me, that's a good example. Tell me about some of the typical jobs, and then tell me about the ones that are atypical.
It's typical, so strange, because, you know, I find myself listening to actors and barking like dogs. These actors are barking. I record these people, and it's just, it's the only job where I've been to where I truly love it. You know, I truly go in and can't believe that I'm recording these people talk, and I laugh for a living. You know, I laugh all day and listen to these people.
Sounds like a great job.
Fantastic.
It's got to be a bit stressful, though, because as I mentioned, when things go wrong.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's pretty tough when, you know, people are paying a lot of money behind you for this product. You have to ensure that it sounds great, and if something does break, which usually it does, you know, every once in a while, you have to be on top of that and think signal path and where the problem is and identify that really quickly.
Now, it sounds as though it's a growing field. Is that
Indeed.
It is?
Yeah, certainly with computers now, too. It's kind of brought that back down to the consumer, so you can, from home, you can basically mix a record, you know, for a record company from your home studio.
Now, I know that one way people can go into this career is going through the Trebas Institute, actually getting a diploma in audio engineering. What is it? What does it entail? How much does it cost? I mean, what people need to think about if they're getting into it?
It's a one-year program. It's pretty intense, 48 weeks, and it's great because it's really hands-on. I mean, not only do you get info from industry professionals, but you get to go to a studio. You know, Trebas has their own studio, so you get to go in and record bands and produce bands, as well as go to other studios around Toronto. So it's a great way to kind of break into the industry and find out, you know, where you really excel.
And when you graduate, get the diploma, then what? I mean, what do you do with that diploma? I mean, are you freelancing? Do you walk into companies and try and get started then? Yeah,
definitely. Starting at the studio as an intern is a great idea. Everyone always needs cables wrapped. So you get in there, and that's kind of how I started.
Starting from the bottom and kind of working your way up?
It's paying the dues, it's called.
Yeah.
You know, when you get in there and pay the dues and put your time in, and then as you go, you establish a name and a clientele, and from there you can go freelance. And the great thing about Trebas, too, is when you graduate, you have the knowledge to start up your own studio. As I said, like, home studios are really popular now.
Well, I guess that would completely change the industry, too, with so many home studios. I mean, how has that affected things? Is it more freelance work? Is it more...
Yeah, it's changing. As long as you're paying attention to engineering and making sure the product is great, then, you know, your name is everything, which is great.
How much do you make?
Well, not as much as you, Kate, I'm sure.
Yes, the millions that I rake in every night.
Yes, $7 million a year.
Yeah.
It ranges. It depends. I charge $200 an hour. People can charge, depending if you have a hit record, then you can go up to, you know, $5,000 an hour or $10,000 for a project. Depends on who you are and who you're recording.
We're going to have to leave it there, but a great snapshot.
Awesome.
And I thank you, Jeff.
Great, thanks, you.
That's Jeff Wright. He's the Department Head of Audio Engineering at the Trebas Institute. If you want to check it out, you can go to www.trebas.com.